Frantic Nerdcast, hosted by AJ and Brock, talking about all the nerdy things that you want to hear about. Let's get into it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Frantic Nerdcast, episode number 29.
Oh, we are chasing down that dirty 30 very, very quickly.
Oh, sexy 30, more like it, baby, sexy 30. How you doing, bud?
Very good, mate. Very good. Very good indeed.
Very good. Anything exciting happened this week?
No,
Just
getting through it.
Just getting through life.
Doing the usual stuff. Nothing's jumping out at me that was too exciting, but just going through the motions.
You calmed down after all the Comic-Con news, bud?
No, because my bloody social medias are just still
It will
absolutely
not stop. Oh my God, it's so hard to get any other information.
It really is. It really is. Like, it's just, it continues to hammer through. Like, some of it is interesting, but some of it is the same shit rehashing. Now everyone's starting to come out with their theories from it as to how it will come about, what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm liking some of the theories and all that sort of stuff, but it's just, it's okay, cool.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It is. It is a lot. It's a lot. And I think it's just going to keep going until the movies happen. Well, to be quite honest, it's just going to keep going.
Well, let's get some some of the rumors out from the remnants of this stuff over.
We might as well.
This one I'm 100% for. Alexandra Daddario. She's the actress. She was in the Percy Jackson movies. She's in San Andreas with The Rock.
Oh yeah, yep.
She's one of them with the eyes. Yep. She's apparently in talks with Marvel to play Rogue.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which I am awful.
I thought you might be.
Awful.
As long as she brings the accent.
Awful.
Look, this isn't so much a rumor, but I thought it was a funny little image that came across. It's basically Doctor Doom choking Kang, and it is 10 minutes into Avengers Doomsday. That's the caption. I thought that was pretty funny.
Supposedly a Wolverine and Hulk movie is reportedly in the works at Marvel, which I highly doubt. People saw it in Deadpool and went, "Oh, we need that's a movie. It's going to be a movie."
Yeah, that has definitely clogged my feet a little bit. Like, I mean, it would be great. I would love to see something like that, but I'm doubtful. Kevin Feige has the chance to make Marvel history with the wildest movie ever.
Oh, yeah, okay. What is this wildest movie ever you speak of, Brock?
Wolverine, starring Henry Cavill and directed by Zack Snyder.
For fuck's sakes. Oh, my God. We talked about, I think we were talking about Rebel Moon, maybe, about the director's cuts coming out and one of the previous podcasts.
Yeah. We'll know about it within 20 minutes.
We got a comment on one of the videos that was bring back the Snyderverse or something like that.
Yeah.
So, Snyder fans are out there. They're all for it.
I mean, I'm sure they'd love to see it, but I mean, that was something that I did see the other week. It was the Snyderverse is getting a full-fledged reimagining from Warner Brothers or something.
It came out. There was a whole heap of articles that were on Facebook saying that the Snyderverse is getting redone as comic books and all that. But it had nothing to do with Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
It had to do
Scott Snyder,
the comic book writer. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with Snyder's DC movies or anything like that. That Snyder is the one who did Dark Metal.
Yeah.
And all those sort of things.
So
and he's been writing Batman for a long time.
When I like many years ago, I got them mixed up. But if you haven't gone and read some of Scott Snyder's stuff, do it. Yeah. He's a fucking great writer. His Batman stuff he did when they did like a rehash or reboot or some fucking shit. DC does it every 500 years. Yep.
And he took over Batman, and it was like 4 years of build up of all these little fucking sprinkles of stuff that led to Dark Metal.
Yep.
Oh, so good, so good. And he did the Court of Owls.
Yes, that was an really incredible comic.
Really good. That's really all I had from Comic-Con, in all honesty. I've been trying to stay off Facebook.
Yeah, I actually don't have too many, but I found these are more some funny images that I found. It's Infinity Gauntlet, the photo. Yep. So you got the Infinity Gauntlet out there. The caption is Pedro Pascal has taken over everything, and it's got Game of Thrones, Star Wars, DC, Last of Us, and Marvel.
I saw that.
I thought it was hilarious.
I got a good one. So this one isn't anything to do with comic books or anything. For all of you Bluey fans out there, for those Americans that like it, we know you love Bluey. It's ours. We're never changing the accent like Corey Carson. Fuck off. National news, a man has been arrested for stealing over $600,000 worth of the unreleased Bluey $1 coins.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
And like it's full fucking, like there's a video of it on the news and it's like full fucking SWAT breaking into this cunt's house and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, 600K in Bluey coins.
Fuck. Feige, he confirms White Vision series is in the works.
That's been in the works for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, apparently.
I thought that was confirmed ages ago.
I didn't realize it had. I remember seeing some rumors about it ages ago. It popped back up.
I'll watch anything with Paul Bentley in it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a fantastic actor. One of my favourite movies is Wimbledon. It's a great movie.
I haven't actually seen that.
Kirsten Dunst and Paul. Yeah, it's really good. It's like really heartfelt, but it's also like really well done in the mental state of a professional athlete.
Yeah, right.
And especially him, he's like at a point where he's about to retire and he gets in on a wild card into Wimbledon and somehow just manages to keep progressing.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, as soon as I lose, I'm retiring.
Done. Yeah,
and it's just this whole thing. But then then he meets Kirsten Dunst's character, who's like a young superstar tennis player, fall in love, blah, blah, blah. But it's just a really well made. Young McAvoy's in it as well.
Have you seen now that the three... there's the video, not the video, the image of the three Spideys. So you've got Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland, and then their partners from the movie, Kirsten Dunst, Emma, and Zendaya all starred in tennis movies now.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Chris Evans, he's returning to the MCU along with Robert Downey Jr.
No, he's not.
As Magneto.
Yeah, I think I saw that meme. No, he said he doesn't want to come back.
Oh.
He's said multiple occasions he's done with it.
Wesley Snipes now holds a record for the longest career as a live-action Marvel character.
Yep, I saw that. The Guinness Book of Records.
Yep, that's pretty cool. And then it's tagged with Keaton coming through and laughing because Keaton's like he's got an extra 10 or 15 years or something on it.
Yep.
The word fuck is said 119 times in the MCU.
Once in Guardians.
Yep. And 118 in Deadpool and Wolverine. I had an interesting message about this one, though, saying about... Oh, what movie was it? Okay, I've just gone blank what the movie was, but they spoke about another movie from... that was done by Fox. That's now MCU purchased. Like, it's purchased by Disney. Is it in the MCU because they kind of made some of it canon, some of it not canon, all that sort of stuff. So it's like one of those. There was another movie with a shitload of swearing through it and whatnot as well. So kind of yes, kind of no.
Well,
from
I think
how accurate it is.
From memory, South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut held the Guinness Book of Records for the most swear words said in the first 10 minutes of a movie or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think in the first 10 minutes you got like, Carl's on the bitch, stupid bitch, you big fucking bitch. All that kind of stuff. And fuck me.
Bruce Campbell's coming back as Ash in a new Evil Dead animated series.
I will watch the shit out of that because Ash, the series was phenomenal.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, it was such a good show. Lucy Lawless was in it. Awesome. And it was just, it was a really enjoyable show and it ended on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't a cliffhanger kind of thing.
I wonder if the animation will be a continuation.
Maybe. But yeah, it was a really good show.
And I know we've touched on a couple of these in the past, but it came through again with the top 5 actors openly campaigning for the role of Batman in Gunn's DC universe. Jake Gyllenhaal, we've mentioned before.
I would accept it.
Glenn Powell, we've mentioned before.
Which one was Glenn Powell again?
Glenn Powell's the one who was in Twisters at the moment.
Oh, yep. No, I would 100% accept him. Yep.
Winston Duke. Don't know who he is. Don't know what he's in. He's a black actor who I actually don't even recognize his face. So I'd have to do a little bit of a Google to see what else he's in. These two, I'm not 100% sure on.
Oh, Winston Duke. It's Umbatu from Black Panther.
Ah,
Umbato. Umbabe.
Oh, that does not really look. I suppose now that I've seen the other photo.
Yeah, it looks like him.
I didn't think it did.
Come on, mate.
Anywho, Jensen Ackles.
Well, he's done Batman. He's already been Batman. He's been Batman multiple. He's Batman in the Infinite Crisis movies.
Yeah. So
he's also been the Flash as well. I think he's been Green Lantern as well.
Yeah. So he's a name that's getting thrown around. I think he'd be interesting on screen as Batman, but because I mean he does the voices perfectly and he suits it very, very well. But it'd be interesting to see him, live action. And the last one, which I'm not sure about, is Alan Ritchson, Jack Reacher. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I know he said he would do it.
I think
he's too big.
My thought was that he actually kind of suits the animated Bruce Wayne, like bringing that across into live action.
Yeah,
but again, I'm not sure about it either.
He's like he's like Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah,
he's not movie Batman. They're never going to do Frank Miller's Batman again. Like closest we got was Snyder for that one.
Yeah. That one I'm probably not as on board with. The other ones,
All right, Twister dude, I could 100% see. I'd love to see Jake as an actual baddie, not as like Mysterio baddie, but as an actual, because he was so good in Nightcrawler.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, that movie.
And I can see him being a fucking kick-ass baddie, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd be happy with any of them. Like Alan Richardson or whatever his name is, because he's Hawk.
Yes.
In the Titan series,
yes,
which he did a really good job at. He's also Aquaman. He's been Aquaman. He was Aquaman before Momoa.
I forgot about that.
But you know, I do it. He's a fantastic actor. He's just did a movie. I can't remember what it was with Tilda Swinton. It came out not that long ago, and it's a real story about a father whose daughter has got cancer or something, or she needs a transplant.
Okay,
but they've got to get her to a hospital like on the other side of America or something.
Sure. And
it's like snowing where they are and all that kind of stuff. So like Tilda Swinton helps them get a plane, and they land a plane in the middle of the streets to fly and stuff. And it's like a super emotional movie.
Yep.
I can't remember what it was called, but he was in that, and it was a fucking great movie.
Yeah,
and he was so good in it.
Have you watched the one that's recently come out on Prime, the Ungentlemanly Warfare?
Oh, so good.
So I'm up to a point in that. I think I've seen
the part where they're pretending to be drunk.
I'm past halfway.
Oh, so you've seen the part at the start where they're pretending to be drunk?
Yeah,
and
on the ship.
Oh,
yeah. It's so fun.
So good.
Yes, they come to party.
Yeah. It cops so much shit, that movie.
Yeah,
and
right.
I do not understand why.
It's fun.
It was such a good film.
It is fun. Like it. I thought it was a good film.
Like there are a couple of parts in it where there's kind of like it's very. Oh, they borrowed that off Tarantino from Inglourious Basterds, kind of thing. But it was a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole movie. And at the end, I was like, yep, 100%.
Cool.
No idea what people were fucking whinging about it. But you know that's based on real people.
True story, yeah.
Yeah, it's based on real people. And Henry Cavill's character, who James Bond is based on.
Oh, there you go. Didn't know that.
Because the guy who's with Churchill in doing the radios and all that kind of stuff in the movie, that's fucking whatever his name is, who wrote the James Bond books.
Okay. There you go.
And he based it on Cavill's character.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That was the only reason I thought that it might have received that flack, because it is like true events. And people didn't like the way that it was true events told or something like that. I mean,
it's like 300 is based on true events.
Yeah, which is fair.
I remember when 300 came out, and so many people were like, that's not how the battle happened, blah, blah, blah.
Were you there?
And it's like, it may not be how the battle happened.
Fuck, it's a good movie,
but it's also a campfire story, because if you watch the start of it, it's a dude standing around a campfire trying to inspire thousands of men to go and die. It's him telling a heroic story to men to inspire them to go and fight. That's what the whole movie is. It's a retelling of this guy's point of view to inspire people.
100%.
And it's just, people need to understand that. As like, yes, it may be based on real events, but you know, come fucking wake up to yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, where are we? Gaming. So what happened this weekend, Brock?
I partied like it was 1997.
Oh, damn, son. On other news, Gen Con happened. We had another convention. This one was Gen Con. For those of you who don't know,
Give us a rundown.
Gen Con is the largest tabletop gaming convention in North America by both attendance and number of events. It features traditional pen and paper, board and card games, including role-playing games, miniature war games, live-action role-playing games, collectible card games, and strategy games, and they even have video games, I believe. It was established in 1968 as the Lake Geneva War Games Convention by the one and only Gary Gygax.
There you go.
Now, for those of you who do not know that name, Gary Gygax is probably one of two of the most famous nerds in the gaming world. One being Richard Garfield, the man who created Magic the Gathering and a metric fuck ton of other card games. And Gary Gygax, the man who created Dungeons and Dragons and pretty much created the entire genre of role-playing games.
Bingo.
So he was one of the co-founders of it. We had one, funnily enough, in 2008 and 2009 in Brisbane. But it wasn't successful enough, so they canned it for the next year.
If they were to come back now...
I reckon they would. Because 2008, 2009, that wasn't when the gaming boom was happening.
No, it wasn't.
The gaming boom's only been really the last 10 years.
Yeah. I think if they were to come back now, it'd be fucking massive. I mean, look at just our local Newcastle Collecticon and what that did.
Yeah.
I mean, you focus in on particular things, which is growing throughout Australia. Mate, it'd be fucking...
Oh, it'd be awesome. Like, PAX is massive.
100% it is.
And essentially, this is PAX, but for board games.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's like, you could have the Australian national tournaments for Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that kind of shit there. So that alone would draw massive amounts of people.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so lots of stuff was announced at Gen Con. Now, obviously, it's actually very hard to find out any information just after the event. Most of it comes through from YouTubers usually a week or two later.
Yep.
So we're kind of a bit ahead of the curve of finding out a lot of these things. So some of this information is stuff that kind of is announced just beforehand, or there's a couple of like European conventions where it gets announced, and most of the North American people find out about it at Gen Con and stuff. But one of the big events that happens at Gen Con is, Fantasy Flight Games in-flight report. So this is the first year that they've come back to doing it like an actual sort of Hall H style presentation.
Yep.
They used to do that a lot long, and in the last couple of years they've kind of done online things, and it wasn't very exciting. But they've come back. This one, obviously, it wasn't that great, in my opinion. They used to announce a lot of things, but they're kind of very much funneled their money and efforts into a few games that are hugely successful.
Yep.
So one of the things they announced, Marvel Champions, which is the co-op, it's a co-op sort of living card game. By living card game, there's no randomized booster packs. It's used by a pack, and it has the same. Everyone gets the same cards. There's no randomization in it. So they announced that Marvel Champions Set 50, the new big box that is coming out for the 5-year anniversary of the game, is going to be based around Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then the Nightcrawler Hero Pack is coming out in September.
Yep.
The Magneto Hero Pack coming out in November. And they also very proudly announced that this game is not going anywhere. There were rumors that it was going to be shit canned. They were kind of running out of ideas, blah, blah, blah. They said it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue on until the IP gets taken off them, I imagine, because it's just a cash cow for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not a game I've played, not a game I think we've
Well, I've got the base set, so we can have a crack at it. It is, I've played it a couple of times just solo. It is good fun, but it's one of those games you need two people to play.
I was going to say, because it is that co-op factor, I can definitely see why you would need a couple people.
Well, it's got some similarities to Arkham Horror.
Okay.
You don't move around the different locations and stuff like you do in Arkham Horror, but you've got like the villain's scheme that you got to try and complete by putting X amount of tokens on it. Kind of thing.
Okay.
You've both attacking, you're both doing your thing, like playing cards, all that kind of stuff. Very similar to Arkham Horror there. But it is all very superhero based, and like you can get the hero deck, which is like a deck ready to play. So like the Nightcrawler one, the Magneto one that's coming out, they're ready to play decks. But You can also build your own decks
Okay.
as well based around a card. Like I think you get a character and like 9 cards for that character that have to be included in the deck.
Oh, yeah,
And the
then
rest
build
can
out
be
from
anything else kind of thing. Speaking of Arkham Horror, they also announced that this game, as well as Marvel Champions, will continue into the future.
Now, even though it's continuing into the future, it's more or less had a bit of a revamp over the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Well, they used to do back when they had multiple living card games like Netrunner, Call of Cthulhu, they had the Warhammer 40k one, they had a Star Wars one, so they had multiple of these living card games, and they were competitive ones. And the way they worked was they would release a big box expansion, and then every month after that big box expansion, they would release a small pack expansion.
Sure.
Which was like generally the big box would be like $60 and then the small box would be like $30 kind of thing. And then that would go for 6 weeks. That would be one cycle or one arc. And that'd follow one storyline. And that's how Arkham Horror did it for the first 6 or 7 sets, I think. And then they kind of went, you know what, we're going to change this up because a lot of cards went out of print. They had massive shipment issues.
Sure.
So people just weren't getting cards they wanted. So they decided to change it. So it's changed to, as well as Lord of the Rings collectible card game, living card game, which is also a co-op game. They changed it to a platform where it is you buy your investigator pack and your scenario pack now for that one. So your investigator pack comes with all the cards for the players to build their decks and whatnot. So you can just buy that if you want to build new cards and you don't want to play the scenario. Or you can buy the scenario pack, which has all the cards for that campaign.
Okay.
And so that's how they've done it. So then they decided to go back to all the old sets and release them in that manner.
Okay.
So, and they've, as of this, they announced that the final repackage, the Innsmouth Conspiracy, is set to come out later this year.
Okay, cool.
And that'll be all the old packs are out in that new format, which I would imagine would be cheaper for them because they don't have to have as many SKUs. So there's not as many different products, packaging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
makes sense. I mean, yeah, from a logistics perspective, it definitely makes sense.
because I know I missed out on packs for scenarios because I've got the first 5 campaigns, I think.
Sure. And
I missed out on packs. So there's parts of the scenario that I just can't do because I don't have the packs.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, you'll have to go buy them.
Yeah, probably.
Good. If you haven't played it, it is a good fun game.
Yeah,
Definitely,
it's very good. It's very hard. It's good fun. You building the decks and stuff works really well.
And when you say it's hard, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
Like not from a mechanics perspective.
No,
mechanics
it's
are pretty
easy to play. Super easy to play.
It's just very fucking difficult to actually beat the bastards.
Yep.
And I know the campaigns that we played through, we got our asses fucking handed to us.
And also, if you do play it, you can go on Board Game Geek, and if you go into the file section of the base game, I believe it is, there are a whole series of someone's created book versions of the campaigns.
Oh, nice.
So you can download them, and they're formatted to be in a book, and you can send them off to, I think it's Blurb or something. I sent mine to, and you get them printed in there like a nice little paperback book.
Nice.
And I got the first couple of campaigns printed in this little paperback book. It's really good. So they also announced the Midwinter Gala scenario pack is set to come out. So that's just like a little one-off scenario that you can play it, done and dusted. And then the new campaign, The Drowned City, is coming out, and it's the first set to feature Cthulhu.
Nice.
And that's set to come out in early 2025, which will be cool because I think I'm gonna have to get that set because I do like me some Cthulhu.
More money out the door.
Yup.
Adult money is dangerous.
Yes. I've seen a good meme of adult money. It's when a kid grows up and has adult money, and it's a dude dressed as the Green Power Ranger on a green motorbike. So they announced Twilight Imperium. Now, Twilight Imperium, if you've never played it, is one of the best board games ever made.
Still haven't played it.
It's as one that I try to play once a year because it's a minimum 4-hour long game. But it's just a good game to have some beers, sit around, play. And it's like a super easy game to play. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
And it's really good fun, and I highly recommend it to anyone. If you've got the time, play it. If your friend's got a copy, borrow it. It's pretty expensive. But they didn't have anything big to announce for it, but they teased a planet image and said the new thing is going to be huge.
So they're up to 4th edition?
4th edition. So this is a game that actually made Fantasy Flight Games. This was their game that built the company,
Sure.
essentially. And the 3rd edition had some issues. It was pretty hard. They had like a tech tree thing, which was super confusing for new players and stuff. But they streamlined the fuck out of it, and the 4th edition is such a good game.
Okay.
Not big difference in rule sets. It's just streamlines and stuff. So if you can get a copy of 3rd edition, you can get them for fucking cheap.
Yeah, right.
So if you can get a copy, get it. It's a big coffin box too, like the big fucking old coffin boxes. Loved it.
So what do you think it's going to be then? Like with the big planet, you think they're going to go for 5th edition? They're going to like do a whole
no,
revamp?
it won't be 5th edition. It won't be 5th edition. It's because they've done one expansion for it. So I'm saying it's going to be another expansion. So the moon that they showed was obviously teased something for people who might know the lore and stuff that might understand what it is. I couldn't find any information about it, but I'd say it's going to be an expansion.
The information that I found was they teased the big moon. Anybody who knows what this moon is, please let me know.
Yeah. So it'll come. It'll be most like an expansion, and I think the first expansion is like $160.
Okay.
So I'd say it'll be something big like that, and like a whole heap more minis,
Sure,
more rules, more cards, all that kind of stuff.
So I mean, the expansions seem to be a game in themselves.
No, they're kind of like modules that you can add to the game. So I think the first expansion adds I think it's like 4 different modules that you can add to the game and stuff like that, just to change up the way it plays and new factions and stuff like that. Star Wars: The Deck Builder. So Fantasy Flight Games have a Star Wars Deck Builder game. It's a 2-player game. Apparently there are multiplayer rules, but it was meant to be a single game, done and dusted. That was it. But due to popularity, they've made it into a full line. So the next version is going to be the Clone Wars edition, which will be completely standalone, but it can be combined with the original for more multiplayer action, all that kind of stuff. I haven't played it. I've seen it.
I haven't played it either. I like deck builders. They're fun. The key that you need with your deck builders is the replayability.
Yeah. Well, this one looks, I just from the box and stuff, I haven't really seen much gameplay on it, but it kind of looks like the Star Wars living card game deck builderified kind of thing.
Okay.
So if you know anything about it, you can completely correct me there, but I think that's what it kind of feels like to me.
All right, we'll have to find it somewhere and give it a go. Because I mean, as I said, deck builders are good fun. They need that level of replayability. Otherwise, they get old quick. It'd be interesting to see if the base one is along those lines or if it's got that. And maybe it does have that lack of replayability, hence the reason they're bringing out new decks and whatnot. Because, I mean, if you look at the...
I think it just was hugely successful and they want more money.
That too.
Because essentially they have Marvel and Star Wars and that's their fucking IPs, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Run them. Flog them.
Star Wars Unlimited, our favorite trading card game that is currently out.
Fuck, this is fun.
Such a good game. Awesome. They had limited edition stuff there, which is extremely disappointing for us because there's no way you'll fucking get it. And it'll go online and it'll be ridiculously expensive. So the big news that they had, set 1 is getting a reprint coming out at the end of the year. So we've got a long time to wait till we can buy booster boxes, baby.
It seemed like they must have, I don't know, done a limited run just to test the success or some shit.
I don't think they realized it was going to be as big as they thought.
Yeah, because it went off. Like you can still get booster boxes. Fuck, you'll pay for them. Jesus.
I mean, they're charging like $14 a booster pack at some places.
So like I seen one the other day, which was $500 for a booster box from a store. Like,
fucking pisses me off.
That's so expensive.
Set 2 is also getting a reprint as well.
Yep.
So that's
set 2 has
good.
been out for what, a month?
Yeah, like 2 months, I think. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Set 3 is launching in November, which is Twilight of the Republic, and they showed Ahsoka and General Grievous as the character cards. So that'll be the character cards that come in the starter set.
Yes.
And also, if they go off the pre-release from the second one, they will be the promo cards in the pre-release pack as well.
Nice.
So that you'll get like shiny versions of them in the promo pack.
Yeah, very good.
And they showed new keywords, which are coordinate, can be activated if you control 3 or more units. And so anything will say like coordinated, blah, 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 blah. And you can do that, blah, 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 if you have 3 units out in the field.
So they've got 2 sets out. They're starting to bring out new keywords, new ways to do things. Like, I mean, it's good. Like, it shows that the game will evolve, which is good, so long as it doesn't get too much. Because as long as they don't fall into the trap of this to trigger this, to do that to trigger this, I hope it doesn't fall into that trap.
they're more following the Magic route than the Japanese card game style route.
Sweet.
Because the Japanese card game that they're very much fucking novels of text that do this to this, and it's just like a perfect engine kind of building game.
Yep.
They've also announced, this is on Gen Con, but they announced a while back, I think we may have talked about this, but the Twin Suns format, which is essentially
3-player
Magic Commander, but for Star Wars. But when the difference is you can only have single copies of cards in your deck. So you can't have multiple copies of a card. Every card has to be unique, and you get 2 leaders.
Yes.
Which means that gives you an additional color to build your deck with. So you now have 4 colors. So you'll now have 3 colors and light or dark. So that'll kind of add it so you can have like 3 different colored cards in your deck, all that kind of stuff, which would be pretty cool. And I really want to have a go at that and get some 3-4 player games happening.
I bought a box. I opened many packets, and I'm going to build some decks so that we can do that.
Excellent. Also, they announced, there's another keyword, which was exploit. A unit with exploit X can defeat X number of units to reduce the cost of the unit being played by 2 for each unit defeated. So essentially, let's say you have 3 units out, you can kill... let's say, and you have exploit 2. You can kill 2 of those units to reduce the cost of that card to 4.
Okay,
by 4.
Yeah, that'll be pretty handy for some of your big boys.
So I imagine there's going to be a lot of Sith characters that are going to have that.
Because I know the original boost, original starters. Sorry, there's some expensive cards in the dark side there, like just for your destroyers and whatnot.
Well, they had it on. It's on one of the promo. One of the promos they gave away at Gen Con. It's the bald chick. I think she's in Knights of the Old Republic or something.
Ventress.
Maybe, yeah. Dual lightsaber wielder. She's bald.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, I think they had a promo card of her.
Yeah,
and
nice.
She had exploit 2.
Sweet. Well, she'll probably come out with the Clone Wars because she was heavy in the Clone Wars.
Oh, was she? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I imagine she would be then. And also the people that attended this in-flight report got a limited edition Grogu card.
Yeah, they did.
Which was
jerks.
Yeah, assholes. And they announced the next 3 sets, which are going to be which will be all released next year. So they're going to be releasing 3 sets a year. The next 3 sets are called Jump to Lightspeed, Legends of the Force, and Secrets of Power.
Cool.
Now, the one big thing I want to know is, are we only getting canon Star Wars characters, or are we going to start getting book characters? Because I want me a fucking Mara Jade card.
Chase it.
Mara Jade is my favorite Star Wars character, and she just doesn't exist anymore because the books aren't canon.
I don't know.
So give me Luke's wife.
I reckon
Luke needs a missus.
I reckon they'll stay canon.
Yeah, I imagine they would.
They will.
That's IP, blah.
Purely to upset you.
Yeah, probably. I feel that. Okay, so we spoke about D&D before. Let's jump on to some D&D news. So as most of you out there would know, if you are a D&D or role-playing fan, D&D 1 or 1 D&D was announced last year, I believe it was, I think. I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Oh no, I think they announced it last year, but we got we started to see some of it this year.
So the books have got their dates announced. So the new player handbook comes out on the 17th of September. The new Dungeon Master's Guide on the 12th of November, and the new Monster Manual on February the 18th, 2025.
Seemed like the biggest hype around this one at Gen Con was the Monster Manual.
Yes, so the Monster Manual is going to have 500 plus monsters. Lots of old monsters are getting massive adjustments, apparently. They've improved monster families, meaning so if you want to fight a vampire, it's not just a vampire kind of thing, and then you kind of have to buff it up if you want. There's like multiple different types of vampires within that family now. So there's like the weaker ones and the stronger ones and blah blah blah.
So they've built a clan rather than actually which is awesome.
All brand new art as well, apparently.
See, one thing I read is that with the art as well, they're not just going for this is the red dragon and this is like a vampire or whatever and just having it on a page. They're actually going to start doing a lot more scenes. So, I did see a couple of images which looked pretty fucking sweet. But yeah, so they'll do scenes of that particular monster in amongst it. They might even have a few on a page or something like that. But yeah, it looked the artwork looked pretty cool.
The new player handbook. One of the big things that I found on an article I was reading about it all, races are now called species.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
I'm guessing they've done a PC thing, and that people have complained about it being called races.
No, I can see that it's gone to species now for the way that it sort of plays through.
It 100% makes a bit more sense.
It makes heaps more sense.
So that's one of the big things, and then there's a lot of old abilities and stuff have been buffed, and some have been
buffed, reduced,
debuffed,
balanced,
etc.
that type of stuff.
All of this is going to be backwards compatible. So if you've got the new rule set, you can play 5th edition adventures, because this is more like 5.5.
Yeah.
It's not 6th edition. And also they reckon if you're playing and you rock up with a 5th edition book and they're playing 1 D&D, you can still play.
Yeah.
Like it's all kind of pretty much compatible apparently. The other big thing is D&D Digital. So they're now creating their own tabletop, virtual tabletop, which is a fully 3D thing with like movable. It looks pretty fucking cool.
Pretty fucking cool.
The one thing I hate about it is the fact that then essentially your D&D sessions turn into a LAN party. Because everyone is just sitting there with a laptop in front of them. It just
unless you can. Okay, so
like if you're playing online, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So the way that we run our stuff, or the way that you run our campaigns, is that we got the TV in the middle of the table. Yeah. We've got the map. We've got the characters which bounce around. If you can do the same thing, however, there's a level of movement which is done not via the players at the table on the computer, but either by yourself or by a touch screen that's in the center or something like that, so that you can make it a little interactive from that perspective rather than sitting on your laptop. I think that would be very, very good. But I 100% agree that if you just take it to everyone sitting on their laptop, it defeats the point.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be expensive as fuck because it was the coast and there's one screw money out. It is built in Unreal Engine. Nice. Which is pretty cool. It's going to look good. Apparently, I read you can even import your Baldur's Gate characters into it to use as minis in the virtual tabletop.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
They've also announced a 2D version called D&D Maps.
I reckon that will be more so for what you try and use for what I was just saying. Yeah, okay.
So I mean, we'll see how it all goes. Apparently, the 3D one is expected to come out later this year, but you can do a sneak peek on D&D Beyond if you're a member. I think of D&D Beyond.
Cool. As in paid member, or
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure. On other D&D, on other role playing news. Now, I know this is a shock for some people. D&D isn't the only role-playing game.
Go back to episode 21. We talk about other ones.
Oh my God. Are you serious? I am serious.
Yep, episode 21. Go back to episode 21. We talk about role-playing, prominently D&D, but we talk about some others as well.
Yes, there are other role-playing games. And one of them, even though technically this is based on Pathfinder, which is built from D&D. So,
oh, come on. They're all built from D&D.
Oh, no, this one actually is. Pathfinder is built off of D&D.
Oh, well, there you go.
It was built using the open license.
Oh, right.
Yep. But it was built off like 3rd edition, I think. And since then, they're very different games now. Yeah. But Piazza have announced Starfinder, the 2nd edition. So they released a playtest. They've released the playtest rules, so you can get them, or they're on pre-order.
Yep.
And the playtest is going to run from August 1st through to the 31st of December, along with 2 playtest scenarios that have released: Shards of the Glass Planet and It Came from the Vast. Look, I love We've played Starfinder.
Starfinder was good fun.
It's good fun. There's a lot to it.
Yes.
And also, I think we struggled a little bit. The campaign that we played wasn't very well written, in my opinion. So we kind of gave up on it. But
it got very, very samey, very, very quick.
Yeah, it was good. It was very good fun. I think making your own campaign is probably the way to go with that one. But also, I wasn't a fan of how they did the campaign. Like I much preferred the way Wizards do D&D campaigns. It's a lot easier to sort of run the session, I feel. Well, at least the way we play. It is. But yeah, so there's a second edition of that coming out, which is pretty cool. I'll get the book anyway because I've got the first edition book and have a squiz of it. Another RPG one, which I haven't put on here, but Talisman. The Talisman RPG, which only came out like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I don't think it was very successful. I actually got the rule book for like $20,
right?
Because it was must be an old stock, and they're getting rid of them. But they've announced someone else bought the rights, and they've announced the second edition.
Okay,
I think was it Chaosism? No, I don't. Well, Chaosism are who do Call of Cthulhu and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I might not have been them, but someone's bought it, and they're doing a second edition of that, which would be pretty cool. And that was really kind of all the big news, big announcements that they kind of had. But some of the games that were announced. Let's go through some of the games that were announced. So if you haven't noticed yet, folks, this is a very game-heavy episode. Apologies.
We've brought you in, now you have to stay.
That's right, suckers. So one of the games that I saw, kind of looked at the look of, was Dracula vs. Van Helsing. 20 to 45 minutes, 2 players in Dracula vs. Van Helsing. Each player controls one of the title characters. Van Helsing must remove all of Dracula's life points to win, but if in Dracula's turns all 4 inhabitants of the same district into vampires, Dracula wins. So it's asymmetrical.
Yeah, so one of the things I seen second to this one, same creator, they've done Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard. That one actually intrigued me a bit more than this one.
I've played that. It's fucking good.
So
that's why this looked good.
Yeah. So when I seen that, I thought, you know what, that's fucking sick. Because basically you're playing as Jekyll and Hyde to A, help people, and B, avoid Scotland Yard while Scotland Yard is trying to track down. It looks pretty fucking cool. Yeah,
I think there's another one as well in the same vein. I think I can't remember, but I believe there's another one. So that one I'm definitely very interested in. Hero Quest First Light. So this is an introductory version of the game that includes a new quest compatible with all Hero Quests, but it's like a Hero Quest Lite.
I think this is a great idea, brilliant idea.
Because the base game is like $240.
Yeah, exactly, and it is an incredible game. Like we've played through one.
In all honesty, it's been replaced for me by Dungeon Saga Origins.
Have we played that?
You haven't.
Okay.
I have multiple times solo, but it is a much better dungeon crawler.
So in any case, if you haven't played Hero Quest, it is simple.
Oh, it's a basic game.
It's fun to play. Like even though it is simple, it was fun. But you're exactly right. Like it is super expensive to actually get into. As you said, $240, $60.
And most of the expansions are $80, $90.
Exactly. So to play the game, it is fucking expensive. So I think this is a really, really smart way to get people in to then buy the big box anyway.
I think it's tiles
Yep.
instead of a board.
Sweet.
And I think the doors are cardboard.
Yep.
Instead of hard plastic like the big one. And I think you get less minis and like obviously a lot less minis and stuff.
Or something. Yeah. Like, I mean, it makes sense. I think it's a great idea. It gives people an option to get into it. The beauty of a game like this is it's easy to pick up, therefore good for younger audiences as well. And a good introduction to those drunk people. Those drunken crawlers.
That's us.
The dungeon crawlers.
I think there is a game called Drunken Crawl.
Oh, there probably is.
And then on the Hero Quest note, they've also announced the next big box expansion, which is Hero Quest Jungles of Delthrak Quest Pack. And as the dense jungle surrounding the mountains at World's Edge, an ancient dwarven civilization finds new roots. A sacred artifact prized by the dwarven refugees of Keller's Keep has been stolen, and a blight has infected the jungle to its roots. As a powerful berserker or explorer hero, traverse the jungles and discover what vile secrets loom beneath its canopy. Before all is lost, follow your path to unique endings through a choose-your-own-adventure mechanic. Includes a quest book featuring 16 quests, 36 cards, 29 detailed miniatures, and 39 double-sided cardboard pieces.
So this will probably be more expensive than the Hero Quest First Light.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it's I'm very interested by the choose your own adventure. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I've seen that in Hero Quest. So it'll be very interesting. And it sounds like you don't use the HeroQuest board. Because it's got 39 double-sided cardboard pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
So whether that's like tiles or the tiles go on top of the board, because most of the expansions use the board.
So I'm going to say the tiles go on top of the board to change particular things.
Yeah,
I reckon that'll be the case there, which will be like, I don't know, maybe add some extra paths or change the rooms around, things like that. And one other thing on HeroQuest while we're going, the card game is also absolutely fantastic. If you have not played the card game, play the card game.
Impossible to get,
If
though.
you find the card game, please let us know because we want
I have it. I told you. I got a copy of it. I printed it, but I got a copy of it.
Bastard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave you the files. Didn't I?
Haven't?
I thought I gave you. Yeah, I
Notice
printed it off.
the upward inflection that I'm not sure if you have.
I've got a fully playable copy in my cupboard that I printed myself.
Okay, this is marvelous. I am discovering things that I probably already knew, so I'm rediscovering.
But I believe the game was only due to licensing released in
UK.
The UK, yeah.
Yep.
And even then, it's out of print now, I think.
Yep, has been out of print for a very long time, and we would love for it to come
So
back
if you want
print.
to play it, you can go get the mod on Tabletop Simulator, which is where we
awesome
discovered it, played it, love it. It's super easy, great fun.
Tried to find it, couldn't find it. We now have printable versions.
Yep. In that same vein or the same world, it used to be the same world, but then the rights went away and Games Workshop don't own it anymore, but Games Workshop own Talisman. Talisman, Fates Beckon. Now, this was announced a while ago because this is the 5th edition. Avalon Hill now have the rights to the game, and they've released the 5th edition. And this is the first expansion they announced for it. I believe Gen Con was the first place you could get it in America.
Okay.
I think. But it is also the first expansion ever for any Talisman to feature co-op play.
Again, like a smart thing from Avalon, is it?
Yeah, Avalon Hill.
So Avalon Hill.
So they do
very smart.
Yeah, they do lots of good games. They do all the Risk games, Axis and Allies, Haunted House on Haunted Hills, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. So I mean, really smart. Like if you're going to get a game like this or get the IP so that you can release it, do something big like that is pretty big for a game of this stature that's been around for so long.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how the co-op actually comes across as the head played as well. Like I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I mean, I personally like 5th edition looks good. I'm not going to buy it because I have everything except for one expansion. Which if you have the expansion, hit me up. Highlands, I need it. I've got all the 4th edition.
Yep.
I'd be interested to see if you can work this into 4th edition.
That's what I want to know. Like if you can get the rule set that or at least has the multiplayer mechanic, it'd be cool to see.
Because I haven't read 5th edition rules yet, so I don't know how different it is. I can't imagine it's too different. But I mean, there's a dude online called Talisman. God, I can't remember. He's got a Facebook page, but he's like Talisman obsessed and has like every version of it in multiple languages.
Yeah, right.
That's ridiculous. And I'm sure he'd know. He does lots of home stuff and all that kind of stuff. Where were we up to? Next one, Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. The essence of this asymmetrical game is a witch's struggle against a witch hunter, as the witch strives to complete a ritual of rejuvenate.
So before you keep going, just very quickly for the people who don't know what an asymmetrical game actually looks like.
Yes. So asymmetrical essentially is if it's a 2-player game, both players are playing differently. So essentially, a perfect example in the card game world is Netrunner, which was created by Richard Garfield, where one player plays a hacker, the other one plays corporations. The players have different win conditions. So essentially, the corporation has agendas in their deck. They have to draw them, and they have to try and pay them and flip them over. The only way the hacker can win is they have to try and hack into the corporation's servers and steal those agendas away from that player. And it's essentially you're playing different games, but you have to interact to win kind of thing.
It's that game in particular is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Root is another one that's very asymmetrical.
It's an interesting mechanic that I don't know. It's quite fun because it's different. You're not just duking it out to try and win or whatever. It's interesting.
It makes it hard for strategy as well. There's a good one called Vast, which is like a dungeon. Like you're a dungeon crawler going in to kill a dragon, and like one player might be playing as the dragon, one's playing as something else, one's playing as something else, one playing as something else, kind of thing, and everyone has their own way of playing the game.
Yep.
And it makes it very hard strategically because if you don't know how to play that character, you don't know what the fuck they're doing, kind of thing. So it's very difficult.
Exactly.
So essentially, this one is 2 players use their action pawns to activate villages and draw cards, play cards, gain influence. Each player has their own variable card deck with 50 cards. The witch can brew powerful potions, improve their family, and improve their familiar, and cast enchantments and charms, while the witch hunter enlists allies, claims strategic locations, and ruthlessly investigates the villages. The art looks fucking awesome. The game looks really good.
It looks
I'll
pretty
be very
fun.
interested.
It looks fun. As you said, the art looks amazing. Like the mechanics sound interesting. Like it sounds like an interesting game to play.
I'm really into like the 2-player games at the moment because I do love a big meaty multiplayer game like some of the Arkham games and stuff like that. But it's really hard to get that many people interested to play a game for 3 hours kind of thing.
Hence the reason we haven't played Twilight Imperium for quite a while.
That's it. So that one looks pretty interesting. From the Moon. In From the Moon, players are representatives of factions trying to complete missions departing from our moon in order to help humankind survive elsewhere in the galaxy. Indeed, the fate of Earth is sealed and time is running out. The plan is to launch 3 survival missions before all life on Earth ends. To do that, each faction will contribute by building parts of the ships and build their own lunar base to store the necessary resources. In the end, which faction will be the most suited to lead the future of the race out there far away into space?
I thought it looked like a pretty interesting resource builder to try and overcome it. I mean, there's that many resource builders out there, so you kind of need something that catches your eye from a layout and an artistic perspective. And this one, it definitely caught my eye. I think it'll be an interesting one to have a look at.
One of those big things about board games that if you're not a board gamer and you're watching or listening, people say don't judge a book by its cover. Board games are very much judging books by their cover.
It's one of those things where you're exactly right. To get the game, you have to judge it by its cover, and then you find out if it works later or not. Yeah, which is hard.
But even then, like even if you watch like Dice Tower or like some of the reviewers, it might look good. So you're judging the book by its cover. You get it. And your group, it just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've bought games because the reviews are awesome and we played them and it's like, no. Because sometimes like games, like we've played a lot of games, we'll start playing it and be like, no, this doesn't work for 2 players or this doesn't work for 3 players. Like this needs 5 players to work. And
you're exactly right.
But that one looked really good. Very interested in it. This one looks fucking sick. This is I believe it's by Chaosism, which is the Call of Cthulhu RPG guys. Horror on the Orient Express, the board game. In this co-op game, you and the other investigators try to survive on the doomed train. To win, you must hunt out the cultists to stop them from performing a hideous ritual and ensnare the train's and ensure the train reaches its destination. Each of you control a character who develop new skills, gather items, talk to the passengers, discover clues, and ultimately decide the train's fate. You may even learn a spell or 2. So this is very much like in the Arkham Horror. If you like Arkham Horror, if you like Mansions of Madness, all those Fantasy Flight games, Arkham-style games, it's based in H.P. Lovecraft's world, and it looks fucking awesome.
What I hope that they do with it as well is they bring that level of difficulty to it as well, because I find that when you have games like this, when they're that horror orientation, if you make them more difficult, it genuinely puts not like the scare into you, but it gives that the almost like edge of your seat anxiety, like fuck, like now I need to do this, to do that, and like you were genuinely like fuck.
Have you played Eldritch Horror with me?
I think we have.
So Eldritch Horror is Fantasy Flight games have Arkham Horror, which is based in Arkham, and you're traveling around
and
trying to close
Horror
portals.
is the board
and
game.
Eldritch Horror is the same, pretty much close to the same game, but it's like based on the world.
Okay.
So you're traveling around the world trying to close gates and stuff, and you have to beat one of the ancient ones.
I don't think we have played that actually.
Really good fun, but it can take like 2 hours base kind of thing, and it's great fun. Like, and I've got like a lot of the expansions and stuff for it. It's super good fun. Slay the Spire, the game. So Slay the Spire is a video game. It's what's called a rogue builder. So essentially, it's kind of like a deck builder, but crossed with a platform, with a side-scrolling game kind of thing. Like the fight systems in like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. How it's like I'm going to use this attack, and then it goes to the screen, and they go and jump out and hit. Yeah. And then the monsters jump in and hit. And kind of thing. Yeah. Essentially, it's that. Okay. But you deck build cards which have like attack +1, and you play it. And it's a roguelike they're called. Okay. There's a big genre of them in video games and stuff, and Slay the Spire is like one of the big guys.
Sure.
In that world, so they're doing a board game for it. Okay. It's a cooperative deck building adventure. Craft a unique deck, encounter bizarre creatures, discover relics of immense power, and finally become strong enough to slay the spire.
Right.
It's a good fun game. I played the video game. And I enjoyed the video game, and I like deck builders. Put the two together. We'll see.
So you put two together, and there's more adult money out the door.
So I mean, it's not pretty because the game isn't a very pretty game. It's like 8-bit kind of styling and stuff, and
I was trying to pull at the 8-bit nostalgia.
It's not a sexy game. Okay. Well, that's the video game at least. The card game I've only seen the box art for.
I'd say they'll draw on the card.
Yeah, I imagine so. But if you like Slay the Spire, I imagine you're going to like the card game. If you like deck builders, you probably like as well. Warcrow. So Warcrow. I didn't think I put this much information down. Did you put that in?
I may have just copied and
pasted well, you talk
stuff.
About this one then.
So Warcrow is a miniatures game set in the fantastical world of Lindworm. In this setting, you control a small military force made up of warriors, creatures, and wizards who fight skirmishes, pursuing the interests of your faction. Before starting the game, you must select a scenario to play. Each of the Warcrow scenarios describes the conditions and requirements necessary to achieve your victory. Once you've chosen a scenario, prepare the gaming table, etc., that you would usually do. And Warcrow scenarios, they have a variable length of game rounds which continue until the end of the game conditions are met. Each round, you and your opponent will take alternating turns, activating your units. You can cast spells, attack your opponent until you actually achieve the objectives of the scenario. Now, I put this down there for a reason.
It looks pretty.
It looks very, very pretty.
So it's by Corvus Belli, who do Infinity.
Exactly. So
I believe it was a Kickstarter as well.
And that's why that's where I'd seen it, Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and that's why I put it here, because it's Corvus Belli, more or less coming into the realm of that tabletop skirmish element. This is a fantasy type thing.
It's a dungeon crawl.
Is it a dungeon crawl?
I think it's more dungeon crawl than war game.
It seemed like, from what I could read,
it's like a competitive dungeon crawl, I think.
From what I could read, and I could be wrong, is that it's kind of just a fantasy tabletop, their take on a fantasy tabletop war game.
It's interesting.
And that's what I thought was interesting.
I'd like to see what they do with the rule set.
That's why I put it down here, because I thought it would be good to see what they do, because we spoke about this
last episode, Infinity,
briefly. Infinity, and Infinity has very interesting mechanics to me in that I love to watch it played, but I think I would struggle to play it. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what they draw upon from that and apply to this and see how it plays out, because they could create something very, very different to the typical tabletop skirmishes that are in that fantasy world, i.e. your 40k, your war machine, is it? Or
fantasy, you got Age of Sigmar, you got war machine is half really, but it is more fantasy than sci-fi.
Yep.
They're kind of your big boys. What else? Kings of War.
Yeah, that's it. Kings of War.
By Mantic.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it's something that can sort of add another level to that tier, or if it's just another game that is out there.
If anything, the minis look pretty.
They do indeed.
Invincible, the hero building game. A fusion of bag building and tableau building allows you to customize your hero each game. Press your luck and risk crashing to deal with numerous threats at once while trying to rescue civilians and your fellow heroes. Bag building. I like bag building. It's a good mechanic. Essentially, for those who don't know, it's kind of like deck building, but usually it's a lot of the time tokens. So you'll have a bag and you'll have like 5 tokens in a bag or something like that to start off with, and they do shit. And then when your bag empties, you put all the tokens back in, give it a shake, and
there
then
you go again.
and then on your turn you draw X tokens out. Same as deck building, but just with tokens or dice. This looks interesting. I love Invincible. So I'm probably going to be in on this. I love, as I said, I love Invincible. I love deck builders. Thank you very much. Take my money.
And more adult money. After this episode, we are very fucking broke.
Yeah, I know, right? This time of year. I swear to God, Gen Con and NAB, NAB is like the massive tech convention over in Vegas. I dread those times because they're like, look at this pretty camera. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'll never be able to afford that.
I will look at that pretty camera when I spend my adult money on it and it's in my actual hands.
Yeah, that's very, very rare will that happen. It'll probably happen like 10 years after the camera came out.
Yeah.
And then finally, this one I'm actually super excited for, and I'm going to buy the shit out of this when it comes out. And that is Cyberpunk Edge Runners Combat Zone. So this is based on the anime Edge Runners.
Oh, okay.
Which was a great anime. Never played the Cyberpunk games or anything. No, fuck all about them. All I know is that Keanu Reeves was in the ad. The anime was awesome. I loved the anime on Netflix. Then this is essentially a miniature war game with no minis. They are acrylic minis. So a big thing, especially in Japan, last time I was over there.
Well, like standees.
Acrylic standees with printed pictures on them.
Yeah, okay.
So front and back printed pictures.
Sure.
So all the minis are those. So you don't have to paint them. You don't have to put them together.
Oh, but painting's so much fun. Unless you really don't want to do it.
Yeah. I get in periods where I'm like, I also want to paint minis, and I paint minis for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to paint any fucking more minis.
We've spoken about this. You go through phases where like one day you'll pick it up and you'll just smash out so many minis, and once you're done, you just don't want to look at anything that's to do with paint or minis or grey for a very long time.
Yep. So yeah, that's one of the main things that intrigues me about this. The acrylic minis, 100% in. I'm very interested to see the price point. I like the theme. I'll be interested to see the rules, but I'm probably going to buy it. I'd say.
So you'll see the rules once you've purchased it and we're playing it.
Probably. That's probably how it's going to go. But that, did you have anything else you saw at Gen Con?
No, look, similar to yourself, I sort of tried to traipse through and find some things and found it difficult. Stumbled across a few lists, but even those lists, when I checked them against this, they were same stuff that I was bringing out anyways. Yep. I think in a couple of weeks, once the dust settles, I'd like to go for a bit more of another delve into various bits of information, hopefully find some more things. I think, once the dust settles, we might be able to come back to a few things.
But I mean, if you want to see some of the things that did come out and like the experiences, if you go on the Dice Towers YouTube page, they generally do a daily vlog where it's just them walking around going, oh, and this came out, look at this, and this came out, and look at this, kind of thing. So, you know, that's probably a good way to find it.
I started watching a couple of those, and what I found was one of them literally looked like someone accidentally left their camera open. And that put me off.
they are painful to watch sometimes. They are painful to watch because the Dice Tower turned into like the Dice Tower Network, I think they call it now.
Okay.
And so they got all these other YouTubers and like put them under their own umbrella.
Right.
And in my opinion, it went to shit when they did that.
Yeah, because they used to be quite good.
I love Dice Tower. I used to love their top 10 lists and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't pay any attention to them anymore. They're gone to shit.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, on to some trailers. We got 2 for you this week. The Silent Hour.
All right, so The Silent Hour comes out on October 11th, 2024. The director is Brad Anderson. This guy's done some cool shit. He did The Call with Halle Berry, Stonehouse Asylum, Beirut, Fractured, just to name a few.
What was his name?
Brad Anderson. I'd never recognized the name, but then had a look at some of the films that he'd done. I thought, you know, it's sweet. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty decent list.
Yeah, very decent list. From a starring perspective, we've got Joel Kinnaman, so Suicide Squad, The Killing. We've got Mark Strong. You'd know him as Sinestro from The Green Lantern.
Yes. That's where everyone would know him from. That super successful Green Lantern film.
More recently, he was Merlin in the Kingsman series. He was also Henry Blackwood in Sherlock Holmes alongside RDJ. He was also in Shazam! Fury of the Gods as the main antagonist there. We also got a sneaky Mekhi Phifer in there, who I have not seen him in anything.
I've seen him pop up in the trailer. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like he did in fucking 8
really
Mile, man.
doesn't he? And like, literally, I thought, fuck, I reckon 8 Mile's the last thing I remember him from. I had a look, it was actually Dawn of the Dead. But that was 2004. He was in Dawn of the Dead in 2004. Now, he was also in the Divergent series. I can't remember who he was in that.
Was he?
Yeah. So I didn't know.
I mean, I blocked those movies out because they never finished, and that just irritated the fuck out of me.
I watched them once and and then we got Sandra May Frank, who was she was in New Amsterdam as the deaf doctor in the either the final season or the final two
Never
seasons.
finished. I think I got to the first season of that and never go. So she actually is deaf?
Yeah, she's actually deaf.
Yep.
Actually deaf.
Yep,
So
nice.
she's a deaf actor, and yeah, she was great in New Amsterdam, and I mean, she's in this as one of the characters. Now,
what's the plot line for those who aren't going to watch the trailer?
Plot line. So it's a cop who Joel Kinnaman. He suffers an accident, and he starts to lose his
Do they show
hearing.
the accident in the trailer?
They show the accident in the trailer.
Oh man, that's
pretty cool.
Essentially, he's chasing after a perp. He's a cop. He's chasing after a perp. The perp sort of runs out of an alleyway, gets hit by the car, and he's running so hard he can't stop, and full headbutts into the side of the car and just goes fucking bang.
Hits his head on the ground, blood pulls out his ear. He's fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, because of that, he starts to lose his hearing, and then shortly after, there is Sandra May's character being a deaf person. Kinnaman's character is called on to ALS sign language just to
because
sort of.
she saw a murder happen.
She had footage of a murder, I think it was.
Yeah.
On a camera, on her phone, sorry. One thing I loved, or one thing I'm interested to see how they tackle or do is the deaf perspective.
Yeah, that's always a very interesting thing, like when we're talking about Echo.
Exactly. So I loved how they handled it in Echo. From the trailer, there's one scene where you can see, right, they are going to do stuff with it. It's when they sort of, they're chasing from someone, they end up at a lift. He does this really cool, like he just does some hidden sign language almost just to her.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was really cool. Like just does this little thing with his hands. She jumps into the lift, and as she jumps into the lift, it goes to like the what we call it deaf mode, for lack of a better term. And it was done differently to Echo. It was far more high, ringy. Like there was much more noise going on, and I felt like that played into Kinnaman's character more so because he's losing his hearing. He hasn't lost it. So I thought that was really cool. And so, yeah, from that, I'm interested to see how they handle that.
There is a really good movie that handles that sort of situation of someone losing their hearing really well. And it's called The Sound of Metal. It's got Riz Ahmed in it.
Cool.
You would have seen him in lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
He's also a rapper over in England and stuff. Essentially, he plays a metal drummer. And he's starting to get tinnitus.
Sure.
And his hearing is starting to go. And it's like his whole thing of having to deal with that loss of hearing and stuff. And it is a good fucking movie. Like it's a powerful movie. And that dude can fucking act too. So yeah, it's good. It's that very much situation of the person losing it and how they, like when he's drumming and stuff and you can hear like, but you hear like those little thuds and stuff that he can kind of just sort of feel and stuff. And it does it so well.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to give that one a look. In any case, this one, I think they didn't show heaps in the trailer, I thought.
No.
But
they kind of showed what they had to do to get you interested and stuff.
Exactly, which definitely did what it needed to do.
The movie, we all know what's going to happen. It's a very generic looking script and stuff.
Is. But and as I said, the only thing that really intrigues me is how they're going to handle a few of the elements, how they come across onto screen. And so, look, I'll give it a look, but I'm not running out the door to see it.
I'll probably wait till it's sort of on the streamers, and I'll watch it then.
Yep.
This next one, I very much would like to go see this in the movies. This one is Greedy People.
I'm not sure about the movies. Because I think the trailer just had way too much in it.
See, I reckon they kind of gave you the thing, but I reckon it's just going to be a fucking mental ride.
I think it will be a mental ride. I agree. So this is Greedy People. It's 23rd of August, so it's not far away for a theatrical release. Director is Pozzi Poncreoli.
Okay, that's a name.
Several films I have not seen any. Old Henry, Howard's Mill, Superheroes, Ted K, Unabomber, Asleep in My Palm. So, sure.
Pozzi Poncreoli, is that it?
Pozzi Poncreoli.
Yeah, that's I found him.
So starring Himesh Patel. He was in Don't Look Up. Enola Holmes 2 as Dr. Watson. Tenet, I don't remember who he was in that, but he was in it. Anyways,
he's also in Yesterday.
I don't think I've seen Yesterday.
The one where the Beatles don't exist.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's the main actor in it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
When I was looking this guy up, that did not come up.
Oh, yeah, and the other one is Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Well, there you go. There you go. He's also in Black Mirror. He did an episode of Black Mirror, which is always fun. Everyone's done one of those now.
Which one was that? Which episode?
I can't remember. I forgot to write it down. With Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you'll know him from 500 Days of Summer, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, Inception, Looper, which is a fucking fantastic film. He was also Robin Blake in The Dark Knight Rises, amongst many others. And we got Lily James. She was in Iron Claw recently.
Old Mate's not even a top bill actor.
Yeah.
You forgot one major thing that Jason Gordon-Levitt was in.
More than likely.
Third Rock from the fucking Sun, my bro.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's a show that made him famous.
Yeah, well, good on him.
Come on. Did you never watch Third Rock from the Sun?
I have seen episodes of it.
It's a great show.
It looks pretty fucking good. It looks fun. It looks like, as you said, it's going to be a fucking wild ride. I hope they haven't put a lot of the funny bits up there. I hope that there is far more in behind. That's my only reservation, that they've shown too much of those funny bits.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more in there. I think it's going to be just out there weirdness.
Yeah, but in essence, it's a cop duo where the rookie cop, and we'll call him a longer serving cop, who just appears to be fucking rogue. They're in a house. Woman attacks the rookie cop. It gives the aura of blacking out, and then comes back and the woman's dead.
Yeah.
I think they've cut what happens there.
Oh yeah, and it kind of looks like it's going to be very much a who did it, like there's 6 suspects, which one of them actually did it kind of thing.
Yep. Cops find some money. Naturally, they take it. And the husband turns up. The husband of the now dead wife, seems like he arranged it.
He arranged to get them murdered, but the murderer turned up late.
Yeah, it turned up late. He was already dead. And I suppose that sort of is where my concern is. We know who the bad guy is. We know who the other murderer is. We know who, like, that she dies. We've seen the funny answer. That's my concern.
I think the trailers are going to be misleading, I reckon.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I do hope so, because this has got the potential to be a very fucking funny movie.
And Himish was in the Joan is Awful episode of Black Mirror.
There you go.
So that's the one with the chick from Schitt's Creek, where she's and Selma Hayek, and that where it's she signs up to the Netflix, and then the Netflix show is her life, but behind, and then it goes into like an inception of Netflix episodes. It was the first episode of the newest season.
I can't remember that, I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Good episode. So it's essentially like she signs up for like this Netflix service, And there's a show that comes up that says Joan is awful. And it's like, it's Selma Hayek. And she puts it on and it's everything that's happening in her life is happening in this show, but just like a few hours behind. Right. And Selma Hayek is playing her.
Yeah.
But like when Selma Hayek sits down to watch the show, it's Cate Blanchett playing her kind of thing. And it's this big Inception within like a show within a show within a show kind of thing. He's in that episode. It's a great episode.
I'm just having a quick look to see if I remember it or not.
And yeah, he's also in Yesterday, which is
that was a fucking great film.
Phenomenal movie. He's the main guy. He plays Jack. He's the guy who gets hit by the car and comes back, and only person in the world who knows the Beatles songs until the end when you find out there's like 3 of them.
Yep.
But yeah, no, he's an excellent actor, and it's weird that he's not one of the top billed, in all honesty, which is surprising. All right. What's on the table, sir? Have you actually changed from last week?
I have finished the Lego.
Hey, round of applause. Let's get that up there. Where are we?
Now, the reason it took so fucking long is I was doing videos of it as I was going through, but also there was an LED kit to fit, and that was a fucking bigger pain in the ass than I expected it to be. It looks fucking incredible. There'll be a video up on my Instagram, Frantic Brock. If you're not following, jump on there and have a gander. It'll go up later in the week. I think this episode might actually come out after that video comes out, maybe, if it comes out on Friday.
This one will come out on Friday, yeah.
Friday, cool. I plan on putting that video up on Friday morning so you can have a gander at it. Other than that, now that Lego is going to be mounted onto a wall, eventually, I'm going to try and crack into my dystopian walls that have been sitting there gathering dust.
Nice.
Because they have been sitting there
primed. We need to have a game of that. We haven't had a game in a long time. That is a fucking good game.
Yes, very much so.
It's a very good naval game. There's like 3 new starter sets for it. They've got like giant fucking Pacific Rim style robots and shit.
Yeah, they've got big Pacific Rim type things. They've got some big kaiju type things. I think they've got a lot more flyers through it now as well and stuff. So it looks pretty sweet. The ones that I had are old as all hell, so I don't know how they'll play in with the new version of rules and whatnot, but I will make it work.
Speaking of mini games, one that we've played a couple of times, and we've also used the minis for one-page rules games, is Drop Fleet Commander, which is TT Combat's, originally Hawk Games, spaceship game. They've announced this week or last week that they are stopping stocking and selling the miniatures for it because they're doing a new version of the game.
Ooh, okay.
They're releasing a new rule set, and a lot of the minis will not be coming back.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be releasing all new minis and stuff like that. Some of them still will be coming back. So if you're interested in that game, you like the game, you might be getting some deals soon, and or try and get what you can kind of thing as the new version comes out, because they're also doing Strike Commander, I think it's called, which is because they got Drop Fleet Commander, Drop Zone Commander, which is the on-ground version, which we played a couple of times. It's good fun. And so this one is like that, but zoomed in. So you actually got 28mm scale minis, and like the vehicles are actual 28mm size vehicles.
Nice.
And stuff. So yeah, so I'm very interested by what they do, because Drop Fleet Commanders obviously has all those cool fucking Drop Zone, has all those cool spaceships and stuff that you fly around.
So it's just the Drop Fleet that they're redoing? Not
just Drop Fleet.
Okay.
Just Drop Fleet.
I was going to say, they just did a fair few, not massive announcements, but they did a fair few stuff at the last Gen Con for Drop Zone from memory.
So this will be the 3rd edition of the rules, I believe.
Okay.
The second, because Hawk had the 1st edition of the rules when the game came out via Kickstarter and stuff. And then the 2nd edition, TT did some tweaking to it.
Sure.
And when they bought the game. And so now they're doing an official, like, full rewrite. Because I think from memory, I did a questionnaire for it when they announced they were going to be doing one a while back. And they're like, what do you want to see in the game?
I think they could clean up the rule book a bit.
100%.
Because the rule book is it's a fucking odd shaped one because it's not A4.
Oh,
it's
no, see, that's the first edition rule.
Oh, is it?
That book's.
You sure?
Oh, no, that's the second edition one. But they did that because the guy who wrote the rules is the guy who wrote Battlefleet Gothic.
Right.
And that's how the Battlefleet Gothic rules came out.
Yeah,
and it's the side mounted A4 book.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's right. That he was part of the team for Battlefleet Gothic, or something like that. And he got bought out by TT Combat. And he now works at TT Combat.
Sure.
So he still does the game.
Okay.
But he just works for TT Combat.
All right. Well, it would be awesome if they sort that rule book out because I just wanted to frisbee that every time.
And one of the questions was like, what were the big things you'd like to see in the game? And one of my things was, I want a way to play the game that doesn't revolve around atmospheric battles. And that's what this main game is.
Yep.
It is atmospheric battles where you're dropping levels and
that's right.
all that kind of stuff. And you have to drop down to a certain level to put markers on towns and stuff like that. That's the part of the game I just didn't like. I just wanted a space fighting game.
Yeah, because that's why we've
only played like once or twice.
And that's why when we played Drop Zone, we went back to that a couple times because there was only really like two tiers to it. It was the little low ground flyers or your on the ground units. And that was really good. But I forgot about that. With
I personally don't like that part of it. And I said, look, still do that, but include just space battle rules.
I think when we did it, we did away with I think we tried that and it didn't quite have the same effect. But because some of the other rules were kind of like
because I just want me another Battlefleet Gothic. Battlefleet Gothic is a fantastic rule set. It's a great game. And, they'll never bring that back. I think GW will never bring that back because apparently I think there's licensing issues with the rules or something like that.
Oh, probably.
So they'd have to make a whole new rule set. Blah blah blah. What else is that it for your table?
Yeah, that's it for the table. It's been pretty light on for the time being. I hope I'll get a little bit done of it now. A little bit of background writing for some campaign stuff with RPGs and whatnot that we're doing in the background. So a little bit of writing there and a little bit of writing on a tabletop game that I'm trying to make my brain put onto paper, which has been interesting.
It's not easy, is it?
It's funny. It's one of those things where I wrote some stuff down. I had a few pages written and I'm like, I'm fucking onto something here. And then I went back and reread it. I'm like, maybe you're not. And then one night I just had the brain was working, thankfully, for a little bit. And I was able to blow that out really well to about 15, 20 pages of rules. And I thought, you know what, this is actually starting to look meaty, look like something. I think it could be something. So one day we'll hopefully turn it into something.
That is a good segue for and a little announcement we're going to do. We have a game that is going to be coming out in the not so distant future. It is called Underground Dice Races. It is a push your luck dice racing game. It will be a print and play game. So you pay, you get the files, you print it out and you play. All you got to do is bring your own dice. The rules are just getting polished off now. They're pretty much done. We are going to be doing public play testing very soon. So we will let you know on the podcast as to when that happens, and you can send us an email and apply and be a part of the play testing to get that done. And then we 100% not sure yet whether we're just going to release the game or we're going to do a game found. But it will be one of the two. And it's going to be cheap. We don't know how much yet, but it'll be cheap to buy the files, and it is a fantastic game if we don't say so ourselves. We've been working on it for a fair while, and there are a couple other games that we're not ready to announce yet, but we're working on, and they should be coming in the pipeline at some point as well. But yeah, so we'll keep you up to date with that when it happens. Shouldn't be too long for the playtest. But as far as me on the table, working on Underground Dice Races, trying to get that ready and raring. Speaking of, you can go to Board Game Geek and there is a page for it. You can put like the want sort of thing and, see how much interest we get off that. But I've been working on those rule sets. I'm waiting on some resin to come so I can 3D print me some Space Elf fleets from one-page rules.
Marvelous.
And then they can all sit there and be not painted or semi-painted like my orcs that are sitting behind me right now.
I was going to say, like, oh, that's right. You got your orc fleet up there.
Yeah, there's a whole heap of boys up there that are grey, and then half of them are primed. But
yeah, they're all still waiting to take on my my Watsy fleet, and I can't remember what they were called. What are they called? The
Robot Legions in one-page rules. Yeah,
take on my Robot Legion.
Yeah.
I should bulk them out a bit more. Get some of the heavies.
The other thing I've been looking at trying to find are some decent fantasy miniatures, because I got a rule set called Hobgoblin, which I think I've talked about before on the show. I can't remember. But it's written by the guy who did Gaslands.
Oh, yes, I do. I vaguely remember you talking about this.
I've got the rule set of it. I backed it on Kickstarter. I've got the rule set sitting there. I think the Esoteric Order of Gaming on YouTube has a couple of playthroughs of it. It's a fantastic looking game, and it's all rank and file fantasy.
Yep.
You can literally use any miniatures you want. The scale doesn't really matter that much. Cool. All that kind of stuff. It looks fantastic, so I want to get some forces built for that to play some of that. Other than that, it's kind of been delving into the card game world more than sort of miniatures sort of thing. Just
you find you go through phases. Don't you? Sometimes it's the tabletop war games. Sometimes it's more so board games, and then card games, which we've been hammering a little bit. They're also easy. Like, you can just take a deck, play through, and that way you can sort of go through and play several different games, because several different games you can put very easily into your bag via 7 decks of cards, and there you've got 7 different games you can choose from and play from. Whereas if you want to take 7 tabletop war games, you are taking a fucking
unless you're playing epic scale like 8mm minis, it's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So going through the different gaming phases.
Yeah, so that's kind of it. I've been reading some manga lately. I've been reading Soul Eater.
There's a manga that I have at home. I bought it ages ago that I really want to read. It's Azumakai. It's meant to be a horror manga. I've just gone blank on the writer's name. But in any case, I'm keen to actually sink my teeth into that, because it got announced that they're doing an anime of it. So I'd like to read it before the anime comes out, because I think that'd be, especially if it's a horror anime, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
The big thing that frustrates me with manga and anime is the fact that the animes take so long. And so, like, and a lot of the time they just stop making the anime. So you never get a finish to the anime. But I mean, a lot of the time it is an arc. So you get to see the arc. So it's semi-finishes. But then you, like, they don't finish sometimes. Like the unfortunate one is what's it called? High School of the Dead, which is a fantastic anime, a fantastic manga, but unfortunately the guy who wrote it passed away. So the manga never finished, which means the anime never finished. And that was unfortunate. But there are a lot of animes out there that are based on mangas that just don't finish. The mangas finish, but the animes don't.
I've actually seen, and apparently there is already a movie that was done in 2000.
Well, there you go.
I was looking to try and find Azumakai Spiral into Horror TV miniseries 2024. I can't find it.
The other thing I've been doing is watching a lot of the old animes that I used to watch, and because I've been setting up a server for all my DVDs and stuff like that, and dumping them, and that way they can kind of run on my TVs with my Amazon Fire Stick and all that. And I've been watching a lot of Bubblegum Crisis 2040, the old Batmans, some Burn Up W, just a lot of the old animes kind of things. It's just, you watch them, this is awesome.
Take me straight back to my childhood.
Yeah, I still remember watching Bubblegum Crisis 2040 for the first time. It was Christmas Eve, and for some reason SBS had a marathon of it on Christmas Eve. So I was like, fuck Santa. And I stayed up and watched the entire 24 episode run of this fucking show. And I remember I taped it on my VHS as well. For you young kids out there,
the old
VHS were before DVDs.
Bloody hell.
You know what my son said to me the other day?
Oh, God.
So I was he started watching Dragon Ball Z.
Excellent.
And I told him, back in Dad's day, my son is 6, by the way. Back in Dad's day, I used to have to wake up at 7 o'clock and watch one episode of Dragon Ball Z on Cheese TV. Like, and every day I have to wake up and you'd watch one episode. You couldn't just bulk watch it. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, my teacher said back in the old days, 3 times, 3 olds, old days, you used to just have to watch TV and like things would just randomly come on and you could only watch like one thing a week. And I just felt like looking at him going, go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 olds.
So
we are 3 olds.
The one that I seen kicking around, I think someone might have sent it to me. The 1990s are now being referred to as the late 90s by students at schools. The late 90s. That hits hard.
No, a good one. A good one I saw the other day is back in the 80s.
Oh,
is now back in the noughties.
Yeah.
So for us, when we used to say back in the 80s, like, that movie from the 80s, it's back in the noughties now.
Yeah. Fucking hell. We're not even that fucking old.
All right. Well, let's call it there, shall we?
Sounds marvelous.
Thank you very much for listening, guys. Remember, we have the Patreon. If you'd like to join up, $5 a month would really help us out. It's just one less coffee a week or a month, should I say. You get early access to our Frantic Nerdcast Plays Games, which third one just came out on YouTube.
Cool.
You get them 2 weeks early if you're a Patreon member. We have some more good games coming up. We've got Sagrada.
Yep.
Some gameplay for Sagrada coming up. We've got some gameplay for Talisman. Oh, no, we don't have Talisman.
No, we don't.
Sagrada, we got some gameplay for Carcassonne coming up.
Yep.
A couple other ones, and we've got lots more. A friend of the channel, Zach, shows up in a couple of episodes coming up soon. But yeah, so enjoy those. We've got some other things in the works that'll be coming to you soon.
Yep.
But thank you very much for listening, folks.
Thank you very much.
You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever all good podcasts are listened to. On YouTube, you can check out the latest episodes just after the podcast is uploaded.
Follow along the journey on our Facebook and Instagram. You follow me, Frantic Brock, on Instagram, and you can follow AJ, Weird Art by AJ.
See ya.